people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
So invest in the relationships. I get to go to work any one of my clients is my friend.
Yeah.
I could call anybody up right now, text anybody. I get to go to work every day, quote work.
Yeah.
And I get to hang out with my friends and help them be healthy.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
That's not a job, that's, and it feels really good, but, invest in the relationships and be kind and be smart, because that's the investment that's going to pay off for both you and anybody that's around you.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us again on another episode of Brewed with Hustle. And today we're doing our first episode with two guests in the studio. My friend Kim from OnCue is here. She's brought her brother, Eric. Eric's going to hopefully teach us a little bit about some fitness today. We've got Casey back there. Casey, did you have it prepared, your sound? There it is. This has become Casey's new tradition.
A twisted tea.
What are you drinking?
No twisted tea.
Oh.
This is Skydance.
Oh,
Little fancy dance like usual.
Yep.
It's kind of hard to get away from that one.
Smirnoff Ice next time for you if you'd like. We can get iced in here.
Do you want to brag about where you've been buying fancy dance at?
Well, there is an OnCue that's very close to the studio over here.
There is an OnCue, very close to here.
So it works out pretty well. It's kind of across the highway. It's a hop, skip, and a jump, but we make it work.
What are you guys drinking on? Both of you guys? Oh,
I brought a can so I didn't have to stand up.
Okay.
But I'm a Blonde Ale fan here, so I got Res Dog, of course.
Both of you drinking Res Dog.
So I'll start with a Res Dog, and then I'm going to move to Fancy Dance. It's not the double dry hop version. It's just the one you can get at OnCue.
Yep, the OG.
So that's what I'm going to be drinking.
Nice.
Of course.
and I might split that with you.
Yeah.
I'm also Res Dog right now, but I have not tried the Fancy Dance.
Okay.
Oh.
All right.
We at the OnCue we call it inadvertently the Fancy Pants Dance.
Yeah.
So
we get that a lot.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't mean to do it. It's just
when we came up with the name, I was hesitant because I said people are going to call it Fancy Pants.
Fancy Pants.
Yeah.
But I do go with Fancy Pants Dance.
There you go.
I don't know if that makes it better.
It makes people. Hey, they're talking about it.
That's
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
That's right.
Casey, what have you been up to, man? We haven't done an episode in a while.
Well, I muted myself, so I wouldn't get any stuff going over there. It's more of what I haven't been doing. I've been burning the candle at both ends. I mean, absolutely. I picked up a part-time job. I picked up another job that I can't really discuss on air.
Yeah.
And then doing the photography and the video and everything that I do for you,
And then our last guest, Bryce.
Right.
He's got his guys doing a podcast.
I am up to doing and producing 7 podcasts, counting yours.
Yeah. And your son has a podcast going.
Yep. Keep It 100, Oklahoma High School Sports.
Nice.
That's
pretty cool.
fun.
Very cool.
Yep. And hopefully we got him hooked up with a friend of mine that'll come on the show. Have you talked to him?
Well, here's the deal. I haven't talked to him because I put that on my son. I'm like, hey, I got this really cool guy that's very well known that would love to do your show. But you are going to have to reach out to him.
I'm going to put some pressure on him because I know he watches our podcast. Mr. Mark Rogers needs to get
He's
in
from
here.
Blackwell.
Yeah.
I listen to the Sports Animal religiously.
I think it's super cool that he would take the time out to do something like that.
Yeah.
I can't appreciate it enough. And if I have to put an elbow on this kid to get him to
He's
make
probably
this
a little
happen,
nervous.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah. Man, we have been so busy. We've got construction started on the new building. Signed my life away yesterday.
Nice.
A little over $1 million.
That's a big one.
So I was a little nervous about that. And then I haven't even told you this yet, Kim. Like we were talking about chain accounts. Mm-hmm. So about 10 minutes after I signed that and I was all nervous, Walmart called.
So you got the call. You got a big
I
one?
I got to the big leagues when I got to OnCue, and now I get to kind of stick around. Hopefully,
Yeah.
so
Congrats.
yeah. So yeah, we're gonna. I guess we are gonna play the chain game.
Hey, I mean,
Yeah.
that's where it's at.
We'll see. So, All right, let's talk a little bit of some craft beer. We're going to talk some fitness, and we'll let ladies go first.
Oh, geez.
Kim, Kim, I'm going to tell you, when I read your bio here, there's a lot of stuff here I didn't know about you.
Oh, well.
So starting with doctor.
Yeah. Yes.
All right, tell us what this is.
I have a PhD.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a bachelor's, MBA, and a PhD.
All right.
Before I started at OnCue, I was a professor at, in reverse order, OSU.
Okay.
And then Texas Tech and Virginia Tech. So going back into the industry was kind of a fun transition. But yeah, I was teaching before this. I was teaching beer and wine.
Yeah.
And other beverages. And so one day Jim Griffith would come to our dinners and his daughter Laura, and they said, "You interested in a job?" And I said, "Maybe." And here I am now working for OnCue.
Yeah.
So big transition from education to retail.
So tell everybody what you do at OnCue.
I am the beer, wine, and now packaged beverage buyer. So I'm our buyer for all bottled beverages. Okay. So Pepsi, Coke, water, everything like that. So I'm our buyer and just random projects along the way too. So that's mostly what I do. I do our buying, purchasing, and marketing and pricing for all of our packaged beverages.
So are you an OSU cowgirl?
I am.
Okay, we won't hold that against
That's
you.
okay. I mean, I went to college when I was just turned 17, so I didn't want to go too far from home, and I didn't go to Kansas.
And where are you from originally?
We're from Edmond.
Edmond, okay.
Yeah, so just a hop, skip, and jump over there. We're from Edmond, and so Stillwater was a natural fit. It's a friendly town, and Eric wanted to go away, but I stayed in Stillwater. Yeah.
So this sketchy guy sitting next to you is your brother.
That's my brother.
All right, Eric. So you're the president at Mathe Fitness.
Yep.
Right.
Mathe Fitness Inc. Yep.
Okay. And co-owner and director of personal training at Inertia Fitness.
Inertia Fitness.
So is this together? Is this kind of like
my Mathe Fitness is really just kind of my organizational entity.
Okay.
But Inertia Fitness is the facility that me and a few other guys got together on and started back in 2016.
Okay, and where's that located at?
North Park Mall.
North Park Mall.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So this is going to be interesting then. I wondered how fitness places were going to survive during the pandemic. Can you kind of run us through how that went for you?
It has been interesting. We've had to make a lot of adjustments. We're not an enormous facility. We don't have a huge membership, which we love. We have a very kind of private culture to our gym, which we all love. But unfortunately, with the pandemic and all the issues with contact and things like that, we had to eliminate the membership temporarily. Looking forward to them coming back when the time is right.
Yeah.
A lot of PPE in the gym, a lot of distancing, just limiting numbers, disinfecting, you name it. We're doing it all. We got a couple big air filters in place, just cycling air the whole time. So I feel like we've done above and beyond. What I'm hearing at even a national level, what's happened at the gym. So I'm pretty proud of that. But it's been tough.
So how close to normal are you now? Like how far have you made it back?
Personally, I would say I'm about 80% right now. Yeah. From a revenue standpoint, I'd say about 80%. I have expanded into virtual training as well, which has been fun, challenging, interesting. So that's helped a lot. But we're coming back.
Yeah. Now the convenience store business was different, right?
Yes.
So, and it's helped us as well. Like, I mean, definitely people are drinking on the beer side of it. People are drinking the same amount of beer as they did before the pandemic. They're just getting it from a different place.
I think overall they're drinking more. I did an interview with C-Store Decisions magazine, and she asked me, how has the pandemic hurt your business? And I
Yeah.
I was like, well, I need to take this off the record for a second because I need to think about how to answer this, because I don't want to say it's helped our business because that's such a, it doesn't sound right. But, I mean, whenever this pandemic started, or even before it started, the first thing I did when I came here was we didn't have a very strong local presence at OnCue. Yeah. I mean, we had your standard SKUs like F5 or Golden One or whatever. And that was as a local company, that was on my top 3 things I wanted to do was to create a local partnership with our craft brewers. And our local craft beer business is up over 100%.
Yeah.
So, I mean, while the pandemic is obviously tragic, it's, in terms of supporting the local businesses and community, it's really been a positive experience for OnCue.
I always enjoyed getting the emails that says another record week.
I sent, I'm very transparent with our brewers and all the SKUs that we have, because, I feel like everyone should know what we're doing, and in terms of sales for our partners, and it's just grown. Just total SKU count from this same time last year, we were, we're doubling what we did last year, almost tripling.
So explain why it was important to you to do more local and to bring more local. Was that a decision, a business decision, or was it, hey, I'm an Edmond girl? And
a little bit of both, because OnCue's been based in Stillwater. It was founded in 2005, but before that it was Jack Griffith's Gas Up. So our CEO is Jim Griffith, and he drinks beer and he drinks craft beer. He's not drinking like a premium Bud Light or Coors Light or anything. And so when I started, then since we're local, it was kind of my thought that since we're local, let's be that place. Because there's no other convenience store chain in the state that can really own this Oklahoma grown, Oklahoma owned type of atmosphere. And so that's kind of the angle I took. And it was a pretty, if you've been into plenty of OnCues now, but we have tons of space now completely dedicated to local craft. And you would think that having that much local craft would maybe detract from other craft brands, but if anything, it's just pulling more people into the category. And that's been it's been really exciting. And I like to see local businesses thrive, especially in the pandemic environment. So it's been really fun, especially with can shortages and stuff. I'm always rooting and will always root for local over anything else. And but the pandemic has been it's brought a lot of new people into our stores that we typically didn't see. So it's been good for the beer business, to say the least.
And the way those local beer displays look in the OnCue, you can't help but grab something from them.
And that's the thought is, I can look at if someone buys a fancy dance, what are they buying with it? And so it might be that they're buying, a Coors Light 6-pack and a fancy dance. And so it's really introducing people to a whole new segment and category of beer that they weren't trying before or hadn't considered before. It just wasn't in their decision set. But our director of purchasing and merchandising and us, we've just designed it so beautifully. Our graphics team did such a good job with the signage. It can't help but draw you in, and at least just look at the different styles and who's what, because there's over 50 SKUs now in there and some of the sets, so it's I'll
stand
fun.
in front of it for like 10 minutes just looking at
cans, like some of them have these like style guides on there now, but as it keeps evolving, it's if you have your White Cloud come out, I have to update the style guide. And so I'm finally like, well, people can see wheat beer, then go to the wheat beer guide, see what it tastes like, and then go find the wit or the wheat or whatever. So it's been a really exciting time for OnCue to really lean into the local craft business and just be the convenient source, affordable source for local beer. And
so have you always been into craft beer personally?
I have. Yes. So, I mean, I don't think anyone at exactly 21 years old drinking their beer for the very first time it just starts with a craft beer, right? Yeah. But I was a sensory analyst. Before I worked at Sonic Drive-In doing their product development or the testing part of their products. And so taste and smell and everything like that really just was, I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do with my life for a while when I was an intern there, and then worked into an analyst role, and just like the whole flavor profiles of things were what was really exciting to me. And from there I did a class at UC Davis on wine tasting and wine sensory, because it was a kind of a data analysis class. And just from there it just, beverages just became my thing. So,
but also at 21, you were already like what, 3-4 years into drinking beer? I mean,
well, I was trying not to say that. I was trying to like make a
she was
joke.
A wily veteran.
She was
I
mean, the craft.
I mean, I was trying not to be like. I remember when Heineken came out with like their little mini kegs. It wasn't even like 1/8 of a barrel, and he came home from college once and he brought like a little mini Heineken keg, and I was like, oh, that's cute. And that was kind of like my first non-Keystone Light beer, and that kind of helped. It was, but I was definitely 21 years old when that
for sure
happened.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So we talked before the show that you were kind of telling me about some of the beers that you like. Is that you've just been into craft beer too for a long time?
Yeah, I feel like I have.
Because I'm curious how the craft beer and you're obviously in great shape.
I mean, clearly we're not like, I am not a spokesperson for his business. Let's just point that out really fast.
But it's just interesting. I mean, you got a fit guy that owns a fitness business, and he's really into beer.
Yeah, and not like in excess all the time, but I definitely appreciate a good taste. I mean, my first one, I think I told you before the podcast started, was Mosquito Hawk was the first one of yours that I tried. Yeah. Again, just standing in front of the display. Picked it up because I liked the label.
Thank you for your business.
Well, then remember I texted you.
Yeah, you did. You always text me.
And then you texted me back about Jake's podcast, and then of course I've been looking forward to this ever since. But and then you recommended the Res Dog, and then that's my fave right there. Yeah.
Blonde ales are definitely, I think probably because I can drink so many of them.
Yeah.
Clearly. Then that's why they're my favorite.
There is a push towards like more sessionable styles right now.
Well, I mean, I think, if I could stack that case full of IPAs and it would sell, but I want to introduce people, and like on our style guides on there, it goes from lightest to darkest. So I'm hoping people like will see on that, Kolsch or blonde, or even like, we have some Pilsner, like obviously like just try something new, but try it locally. And that's the push. And then, it's like a gateway drug, right? Like, well, I probably shouldn't say that, but, you try the blonde. Okay, well, I like that. And then kind of, try different styles. So hopefully they'll try it and move on to different styles. And whatnot.
So let's hear about how you kind of got into the fitness thing. Like when you were a kid, were you just were you living and breathing fitness as a kid, and this is the career you always wanted?
I have my version of this story. I'm interested to see what
maybe
he
we
says.
should leave with that. I wouldn't say that. I mean, I was definitely into sports, swimmer, track guy in high school and stuff like that. But then when I went off to college, I really kind of had two paths I was seeing in front of me. One was teaching. I would have been like a math teacher in another life, and then fitness and the human body, and just got really into that. Probably second semester of my freshman year, I kind of had already decided that's the way I'm going to go, and I like the idea of applying it. Don't see myself as a research guy or anything like that long term. I want to work with people. And so that's the.
So what's the other version of this?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to maybe like spill too many family secrets here, but I mean, like growing up, you were kind of a skinny guy.
Oh, still am. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I know, but like you were like very skinny, and and it seemed like he swam in high school, and then he went to college, and then like kind of started to bulk up a little bit, and then then that's when he started talking about fitness and I mean, you were always super athletic because I could never beat him in anything ever, no matter what. Like, it didn't matter. I could never beat him. So
yeah,
it's fine. But yeah, but you were, he swam
you're right.
and I swam, and we both swam.
And I hung out with guys in college that were, big and strong throwers on the track team and stuff like that. So I was kind of pushed that direction. I did, I weighed a lot more in college because all I was doing was eating and lifting. But yeah, that for sure.
Yeah. Where'd you go to college at?
I did my undergrad at Kansas.
Okay, so we got Jayhawk.
Yeah.
A Yayhawk.
Yeah.
Rock
Chalk Jayhawk. That's right.
Yeah. So with your first job, I mean, you started your own business when? So basically
2007.
2007?
Yeah, that's when I started. So I finished up at Kansas, then I went to University of Oklahoma for my master's in exercise physiology. And then just coming out of that, I ended up at a gym for several months doing kind of super introductory personal training work. And then just kind of went off on my own. I was very, very fortunate to be around some guys that took me under their wing and kind of showed me the ropes in a lot of different categories.
So when you were that skinny kid that she's talking about, did you feel like you were going to be an entrepreneur and own your own business?
Well, we have a lot of entrepreneurs in our family.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, just I guess
Parents.
about everybody.
I'm like the only one that works for a company.
That has a JOB?
Yeah.
I mean, everyone else
I think she is the only one.
I am the
so,
only one.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's just, I don't know, it's in our blood or whatever, but
so your parents were entrepreneurs?
Yeah, Dad is.
Dad.
Dad and brother and sister.
So you kind of grew up in that environment.
Uncle, everyone.
And everyone knew kind of what it took to do
it. I can't admit I maybe didn't think about it too much when I was young, but I guess I always liked the idea of being my own boss, the good and the bad. It comes with that. So that's,
which is funny because I would never want to be my own boss.
Yeah.
So it is weird. No, I just.
So I guess sometimes I guess it's a personality thing, kind of maybe.
No, I mean I guess I'm a follower of someone with a strong vision, and I also wouldn't have.
You wouldn't open your own store?
I'm a little more I'm more risk averse. Like. I mean, his wife works obviously, and so it's like. I don't know if I could take. Like the whole risk. I mean that's a lot to think about and do on your own, and that's just not my personality.
We've had this conversation before with other guests, and a long time ago something was kind of presented to me as an idea. They really changed my outlook on that right there. So before I started Skydance, I had a great career running casinos, made great money. I was a single dad, 2 kids. So the idea of just not having that a paycheck coming in 2 weeks, right, was kind of scary. But then somebody had mentioned to me that we call that risk, right?
Yeah, sure.
But what's really risky is having all of that power in somebody else's hands.
I've thought about that too, and if it wasn't Jim Griffith and Laura Offlegger, who I work for, I don't know if I would have left education. I mean, a state job that's super cushy, but this culture they've created at OnCue is so incredible. There's not words to describe how amazing this company is and what they do. I'm wearing a St. Jude shirt. They do fundraisers for incredibly meaningful causes, and I mean, I have like a very chronic condition. I had to have surgery a few months ago. And I mean, Jim was, calling me in the hospital, making sure I'm okay. And Laura's sending me, like very encouraging messages. And my boss, Greg, I mean, like everyone is so supportive of each other.
Yeah.
And if it was...
But you know what? I would say just from the short amount of time that we've known each other, that I feel like you take an entrepreneurial approach to your job.
And that's why they hired me, was because, they hired me because of I've taught craft beer for them. Like I had the content knowledge, and I had this hospitality background of working with vendors and working with suppliers. And they really give me a lot of autonomy. I mean, like these whole open air cooler thing, like that wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
And
it's a radical idea.
To dedicate that much space when every other trade publication saying local craft's dead, or whatever. And I was like, I don't think it is. I feel like, it's like fake news. I feel like it's some of the bigger beer companies that are trying to push this message, and they trust me and they believe in me. And Jim said it once in my office, and I'll remember it, and it was, I trust your professional judgment. Yeah. And I'm like, whoa, like, gosh, like that's very empowering to hear that. And so he does, I mean, he is very thoughtful. The whole company is very thoughtful of everyone they hire, and they are responsible for their job, and you own that area and you run with it. And I mean, it's... So
do you have team members that you're responsible for, or is this your department?
I mean, so our purchasing and merchandising department, we work very cohesively. So as much as I hate it, like going out and building shelves, sometimes I have to do it, but we do have a team for that. And so we work together. Like I'll say, hey, Bill or Jimmy, like can you run out and build this or build that or move this or move that? So, I don't have anyone that reports to me directly, but we're such a team and collaborative environment that, so I could ask anyone to do something.
Definitely. I think basically you take ownership of.
Yes.
Of
they trust me implicitly, which sometimes, like being an entrepreneur, that's a lot of pressure. I mean, I'm dealing with someone else's money now. Like it's not even my money. I might be wasting, OnCue's money, and luckily it's paid off, but I've made some bad decisions before, and I just gotta learn from my mistakes and fix it, and take in more knowledge and data sources and make decisions from there. So I mean, you've taken a really interesting path to where you're at. Did you see yourself when you first started school and when you're at OSU or Texas Tech, did you see yourself be working in no.
Doing what you do now?
My gosh, like that's the last thing I thought. No, I was working at Sonic at their corporate office when I got my offer to get my PhD, and I was really torn because I love working in the industry. It's fast paced, it's not boring, but the idea of doing research on your own, teaching classes, inspiring young minds, having summers off. All of that was super exciting. So I did it, and, it was a great decision at the time. My first job out was at Virginia Tech, which was amazing. Beautiful country. And then, personal life happened. I got divorced and, kind of made my way back to Oklahoma via Texas Tech, and ended up working back at where my alma mater at OSU. And it was, it's personal connections and hospitality that brought me to where I am now. And I that saying of when you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. Like
so you truly feel that way.
I truly feel that way, and I never have felt this way before. Like this is it. Like this is home.
It's a shame like how many people don't get to feel that.
It really is. I was just having lunch with a friend the other day, and she was like, "You're so happy." And I was like, because
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know. And academics is surprisingly competitive, and it kind of made me I don't want to say a bad person, but a competitive person, because you're vying for limited resources and limited attention, and you have to publish or perish, and now it's incredibly collaborative, and everyone I work with is amazing, and
you won an award this year.
I did.
What was that?
I'm the rising star of Top Women Inconvenience.
Okay.
So only a year and a half in, and
so do you know a lot of the people that do what you do for the other stores and chains?
Through different conferences and stuff I do.
So what I'm getting at then though is like what is the mix? Is it a men heavy deal?
Oh my gosh. I mean, if you look at it from the supplier distributor side, I'm pretty much the only female.
Yeah.
There's a few other buyers out there that are female. You'll find it more in packaged beverage, but no, it's not. I mean, to have a completely dedicated award just for women in convenience, I think speaks to the lack of women in convenience. So obviously our president's a woman, and she won like the top dog honor of top woman in convenience, and completely deserved. And so it's definitely a lonely world out there, but
I think those kind of recognitions and stuff like that's important.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about people, younger people especially, needing to see somebody like them doing things, you know.
That was the good part about teaching, was inspiring, students to, it was like everyone wanted, I taught in our hospitality school, and everyone wanted to be an event planner or, be a wedding planner. And I'm like, that's great. Like, not taking away from you, but there's avenues in beverage and in food and in everything that you haven't even considered.
Yeah.
And so that part I do miss, is inspiring like young minds. So it's an exciting award, and I'm very grateful I was nominated and won, and
that's
good times.
That's one of the reasons we push the Native American owned thing so much, is just because so many of our people, whether it's within my tribe or the other tribes I've worked around and worked with, is how many of them think that maybe starting a business isn't for them, or they're told anything to do with alcohol is not supposed to be for them, and all these little barriers, right?
For sure. I'm not gonna. Some of the people who I know, like via Facebook or something, they don't like that I push alcohol. But that's my job. I'm here to sell alcohol and
Elvis.
That's right. Coke,
swinging those hips around.
Coke, smoke, some beer. So that's what we do. That's what it is. But no, it's an exciting time to be in convenience.
And how many locations are there now?
We have 63, but we're gonna open 4 before the end of the year.
Okay.
Yes.
So do you know what the goal is over the next couple of years, or is that?
I can't say.
Yeah. It
but
just seems like OnCue.
More. How about more?
Yeah. It just seemed like OnCue grew really fast.
We did. We did grow very fast, but it's because we provide a service and a product that is unmatched in the industry, and we're opening in Houston in 4 to 6 weeks.
So what is it then? What is the thing that OnCue does that's different from the other stores? So what makes somebody pull into OnCue instead of
our people,
the other spot?
It's totally our people. Yeah. That sounds maybe cliche, but when I first started, I was like, everyone here is so nice. Like, no one's out to, we're a family, and we really care about our customers. We have a management team and middle management team that is inspiring and
so that's where it starts,
and empowering.
Right?
Oh,
the culture.
Absolutely. They've created a culture that's unmatched in an industry
knowing,
like this.
Knowing that, knowing that you have that, somebody's starting their own business or whatever, like what do they do? And I'm actually asking this question for myself, right? Because we're about to build a much bigger team.
Sure.
I had a huge team with the casino.
Yeah.
We're going to have a little bit more tight-knit team here, which I've never done this before, right? So, like, what do you do? What does the owner of OnCue do to create that culture? Because, like, I've seen people – I'll go into some stores, I won't name stores, and it's just like you're ruining that person's day by coming up there and trying to pay for this stuff.
Sure.
And then you go some other places, and I'll always brag about, like, Chick-fil-A.
Sure. Oh, right? Absolutely.
So, like, people can like or dislike Chick-fil-A for their food or political stances or whatever.
Yeah.
But when you go to a Chick-fil-A, like, you just know you're going to talk to somebody friendly, and they're trying to figure out how they can serve you.
Absolutely.
Right? So what does OnCue do to create that?
So, like, for yesterday, our CEO just dropped by my office, like, in his ball cap and T-shirt. He just wanted to check and just see how I was doing. And, I mean, like, what?
Yeah.
Like, he walks in and I'm like, I don't ever get the feeling like I'm in trouble. And we didn't talk about business. He really just cared about who I was and my family. Are my kids doing okay? And that's a big part of it. Everything we do at OnCue is all about relationships. Like, whether it's as the beer buyer to the beer supplier, I always want you to feel like there's an open line of communication, and they feel the same way. We're very open. We also value cleanliness a lot, which is very helpful.
That's one of the things I was going to point out.
Yeah,
is it
we're
just
very
because you could go in some places where it's like, nope, I'm going back to. I'll see how far I can make it on gas.
Yeah, no, but it's all about people, and it's all about creating an experience that is memorable, and there's. Everyone has regulars, but I mean, there's people who we know by name and have their stuff ready, and it's all about the people at OnCue. And it's family now. So
all right, Eric. So we talked a little bit about the pandemic.
Yep.
What are things that guys like me going to the gym? What are the things that
on your first episode you said you were starting your journey?
So you know what, I played golf today in Perkins, and I'm bad. I'll do good for like a month, 3 weeks, a month, and then all of a sudden I'll do like a day a week for like 3 weeks, like inconsistent. So I've been real proud of myself. Like, I had a 3-week streak going. This was going to be my 4th full week, and I didn't go to the gym today because I had to be in Perkins at 8 a.m., And so I'm like, I'm doing what I shouldn't do, which is beat myself up over one day, right?
You got it.
But I have noticed going to the gym, so it took me a little while during the pandemic to actually get myself to go to the gym, because I was a little worried just about, to me, it really felt like, man, the gym, that's like the most germ place that there is, right? Yeah. And so I was afraid to go. And then one day I was just like, you know what, the gym I go to is owned by the hospital, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna go. Surely they know what they're doing. And so I go in. I was really surprised at the cleanliness, and we talked about that. The things that you guys are doing.
Yep.
So what are the things that, when people say the new normal, which I hate that term, I hope this is not a new normal. Like, surely we're going to return to a little more sense of the old normal, right? But what are the things in the gym that are going to stick, that you're doing that you didn't used to do before the pandemic, that people are going to see moving forward?
Yeah, I would say off the top of my head, some of the things that you'll probably see for quite some time, because when are we ever going to be 100% confident that we're out of the woods, right?
Yeah.
I think you're going to see we're very aware of our spacing in the gym, not just trainer to client, but to the other trainers and clients in the gym. We, like I mentioned before, we don't have an enormous population coming in and out of the gym, but I think that will continue to be something that's managed in a way. Hopefully we can pump the brakes on it eventually and let people trickle back in. But numbers management is going to be a big deal for a long time, I think.
Yeah.
And again, we've set up a very private feel and a kind of a private culture at Inertia. But even us with a limited membership like we have, purposeful limited membership, we have to be careful of the numbers. So that's going to be.
So if that's going on for, let's say, another year and a half, 2 years, can gyms survive like that?
I know that we can.
Yeah.
And I'm very confident in Inertia and the team that we have there, the clienteles that we have and that we see and have been very loyal to us because they trust us with directing their exercise. I'm very confident in ours. I think when you start getting into the bigger scale gyms and some of the big overheads, you're probably going to start to run into some issues there. I can't speak in depth to the finances there, but I think we stand a really good chance. And gyms like us stand a really good chance to survive this thing. Because we also have within our smaller team, we got a lot of great minds and high character individuals, and we've been innovative. Like I said, I've expanded my virtual training, which is never going to be a total replacement for getting someone in the gym and being right there with them and being able to have your hands around them. But
how does that work? Run us through a virtual training. Is that more of a consultation, like a discussion? He won't train me. I just want to point that out. By the way, just saying.
No, actually, I was very fortunate. I had been thinking about it for some time as this pandemic kind of snuck up on us and then jumped on us. I was very fortunate to find a product online, which shout out to Recoil Fitness. It's a suspension training system that's very unique compared to others. And I just immediately had a vision for what I could do with that piece. And so what I do is I modify the piece slightly to create some reliability within the exercise. And then I do Zoom meetings with folks, having it set up in their house. I've got some parameters for how I want it set up, where I am from a camera standpoint and all this stuff. And we get some killer workouts done.
What was the guy's name that did the video? The Tony.
On the Gazelle.
No, was it Horton or?
Yeah, that's him.
What was that? What was the? He had the big. I've got the DVDs
with the blonde hair and the.
I can't remember, but that reminds me of. That's like something you could sell, man. Doing these videos and.
Yeah, it's kind of the way I've treated it. I feel like I've developed a system there that I'm pretty confident in, and I've been having some success. Far more than I even expected right now, and so I'm looking forward to continuing to grow that division of my training. But,
so how long did it take for you to kind of come up with that? Because what I saw a lot of businesses doing was kind of like a freak out mode for like a month, like a panic, like almost a deer in the headlights thing. And then some businesses I saw pivot like real quick, like let's do this.
I got to it pretty quick. I have some clients that are family members and were willing guinea pigs, and so I got to experiment. I got to kind of sample the product, not only myself, but get them on it. It's very different doing something yourself and actually telling someone how to do it, especially when you're used to being in the gym all the time, being more hands-on. Now all I can do is talk to you. I can give some visual cues here and there depending on what's going on in the workout, but it's really made me raise my game verbally in terms of exercise description and just the little tricks and cues you got to use to put people in the right position for safe, effective exercise.
All right, so help me out here a little bit. People have.
He will not help me.
How long is this podcast?
He just sends me texts when I'm like, "Hey, I'm trying to whatever," and he's like, "No," and he. Because I expect instant results,
Yeah.
and he no. So
what I've noticed is we're living in a time where people are just busier than ever.
Oh yeah.
Like both, it's a husband and wife household. They're both working.
Yeah.
And with just an example right here, women are more and more involved in business, taking on bigger and bigger roles in business. That means more and more of their time, and that's putting both husband and wife more and more into responsibilities in the home with the kids and stuff like that. Like everybody's just like super busy now.
Sure.
But yeah, at the same time, like health is like one of the biggest trends, we've had conversations about like non-alcoholic beers or low calorie beers, right? Like that's just becoming kind of a big thing. How do people, what's your suggestion to people on finding the time? Because I think it's definitely an excuse I use.
Yeah.
But sometimes it feels like a really valid excuse, like how do you find the time? What are some tricks?
You just simply have to make it a habit like all the other things that you do every day. Not to say you have to work out every day, but you brush your teeth every day.
Yeah.
You must find that to be important.
But that takes 20 seconds.
I know that's a lot. It's a lot less time. I know, but that's the mindset that you have to be in. I mean, there's just for myself, for example, there's no question that I'm going to get in 3 workauts in a week.
How important
it just has to.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a really early riser, very, very early. Actually been earlier in the past, but still pretty early right now. And
how early?
Right now, 4:45 is when my alarm goes off.
Ooh.
But
I get up about 5:30. But man, so is there a better time? I've done research. I know everybody's body's different.
Everybody's
but
body's
is there a time that ideally, is it morning or evenings, that's better to work out?
Making it ideal simply comes from what's most convenient for you.
What's going to make you get there?
Are you the guy that can get up and roll out of bed and go lift weights or go for a run? Do you have to eat first? There's all sorts of variables there and preferences. You just got to find the one that works for you. But I encourage people, even before you find exactly what's great for you, you just got to get out there and chop wood and get after it and make that habit stick. Yeah.
Work out on an empty stomach or eat first?
I encourage you to eat first.
Yeah.
There's some folks that, and I'll do it every once in a while if I just know I have to do something early. I'm not gonna wake up extra early to make a breakfast.
Because a lot of people are doing this intermittent fasting.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of those people that are doing intermittent fasting are gym rats too. And so I'll try that sometimes, and man, sometimes that's hard. Like I feel like I'm not working out as hard as I should because I'm just like
right.
No fuel.
And that may be the evidence that just isn't the optimal path for you and nutritionally with regard to your workout. Maybe you do need something in your stomach. If I could have it my way every time that I worked out, I would get a nice big breakfast about 2 hours before I lifted.
Yeah.
That'd be perfect for me.
Yeah.
Rarely happens, but that's ideal for me. I've learned that over the years. Every once in a while I'm treated with that, but that doesn't prevent me from getting out there. And now I also work in a gym all day. So I've got the benefit of that. Years ago, I would have kept, to answer your question, I would have kept kind of pounding that type of advice with things like the pandemic and other, things in play here. I find myself encouraging people to become more empowered to do their own workouts at home. Because you never know, and that's not to plug, the virtual stuff, but to get familiar with exercise and get familiar with the exercises that are right for you. Something I tell people all the time in the gym is, hey, we got this leg press over here, but we're not going to do the leg press because we have a leg press. We got to have a reason for why we're doing it. And everybody's got to find their own reasons for doing exercises XYZ. And it's going to, she's going to look different than me, different from you, based on a whole bunch of different factors. You mentioned your elbow earlier before we started. You did an exercise that stressed you a little bit. You learned from it, right?
Yeah.
and you try to move forward. Hopefully you didn't hurt yourself too much. Doesn't sound like you did. But part of my job is taking that trial and error and trying to make the errors really, really small. But exercise is, without a doubt, trial and error a lot of times with particular goals in mind. But you got to find what's right for you, and hopefully over time you become empowered to complete those things on your own, with what you have available.
Are you a believer in the idea that it takes a certain amount of time for habits to form?
It has for me.
Like you talk about getting up at 4:45.
She could tell you, like I was always a night owl. I was always sleeping in, and my career turned me into a super early riser. And now I find that on the days that I sleep in, which is now 7 or 7:15, if the girls let me, it ruins my sleep for the next night. It's like. I'm now programmed to be.
That's what our swim coach
early.
said the day before. That's
right.
the most important sleep.
Coach Riggs.
That's right.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? So I was the same way. Like I could not. I hated getting up early. My dad was that guy that he was up at 4:30 my entire childhood. He never set an alarm. He'd get up at 4:30, and by 4:40 you heard the coffee going. You know. And he just like clockwork, nothing could stop him from getting up. And I just never understood that. Like I just couldn't do it. And then a few years back, I started just realizing that I could not go to the gym in the evenings. And I mean, I'd gotten to where probably from the age of 30 to 40, I went from about 200 pounds to at one point 280. And like this is like ridiculous. I mean, when I was in high school and in college, I weighed 175 pounds. I was just skin and bones. So to one day be looking at 280 and know that 300's around the corner was like shocking. And so I couldn't go to the gym in the evenings. I was so tired, and the bigger I got, the more tired I was in the evenings, right? And so I knew I had to go in the mornings, and so I started getting up early. And then it worked, but now I still get up super early. But you know what I found? I love the mornings so much that the next thing I know, it's like 10 o'clock. And I'm behind on my day. I got stuff to do because I get so much work done in the mornings, sending out emails or creating things, for my business. I love to read. I get caught up reading on something, And then next thing I know, like, man, I should have went to the gym like 2 hours ago, And I don't know. But it's weird because like right now I'm looking forward to going to the gym tomorrow. Like I've been thinking about it all day because I didn't go today. Like I'm excited about it. But it just seems like it's so easy for me to find something that gets in my way in the mornings. So I guess maybe it is just kind of, how important it is to you. Is it the top priority to go or not?
They say your most productive hours are between 9 and 11 a.m.
Yeah.
I think there was a study that said that.
Yeah.
And like least productive is between 3 and 5 p.m.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Man,
that makes sense why you like morning.
That 5 to 7 is in the morning is with a cup of coffee is like that's the best time. Especially when you can like this time of year and it's nice outside. You can sit outside and have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I got to figure out a way to kind of just keep myself on track. There's always that one little thing that happens and it throws me off for a few weeks.
But your mindset that you just mentioned, being excited for that workout tomorrow, that you gotta harness that. You gotta capture that. You gotta, I feel like for a while, I mean, we've got a pretty strong competitive gene in our family too. I always, when it was those mornings that were tough to get up early on before I'd really become programmed, I had to find that drive, that motivation, that, okay, I'm getting up earlier than anybody else here. Yeah. For a while there, my alarm was 3:50 or 4 o'clock because I was meeting 5 a.m. clients, and I just had to convince myself, I'm beating everybody to their day right now. I don't know. I had to play tricks with myself like that, but I guess I did it long enough that it became a physical habit more than just a mental.
Do you feel like that your mindset as somebody who works out, stays in shape, tries to stay healthy, that type of mindset that you have has helped you as far as being an entrepreneur and running a business?
I think so. Maybe part of it boils down to just that competitive nature. I would say so.
Yeah. I mean, he's so competitive. We used to play Uno.
Yeah.
With our family friends, and if I was going to win, he would find something else to do before the game was over, so that I couldn't win.
Yeah. Or just void the game.
It was void. Like something happened. Like I played the wrong wild card or something, and it was void. And the game would never end at 500 points.
That sounds like my son.
Unbelievable. I think that like mentally like effed me up or something because now I feel like I have to. I mean, really though. I mean, I could never win anything growing up. But I mean, mornings are. You get up so early, but for me, mornings are really, because I work evenings a lot. But mornings are. That's really the only time I get to see all my boys. Yeah. And I make breakfast.
For me, it's the only time I get to be alone.
Well, I mean, so I get up like an hour before, and I subscribe to the Wall Street Journal because I was like, trying to be an adult, and I read the paper, and I drink my coffee, of course, and then I make my kids breakfast, and that's really the only time that we're all there at the same time because of football practice or whatever. Like, and growing up, and I think, I mean, that was for us, like, we always, like, our mom always made like full blown like eggs and bacon and waffles breakfast for us every morning. And like, that's kind of carried on with me. And that's,
So what is that 4:45? What is your routine?
It's pretty simple. It's just roll around in bed for a little bit, and
wake your wife up,
and get my wits about me. Hit the shower. The shower is.
So you take a shower.
That's the key. I will never wake up without the shower. I'll be a zombie all day.
I read an article that said cold showers are like.
I end every shower cold.
Yeah, me too.
I know there's some hardcore guys like only go cold, and I mean, it's not that I haven't done that, but I always finish with a cold. It just feels good.
I've been experimenting with both.
Yeah.
So but my thing is, I just cannot take a shower, then go to the gym, and then come take another shower.
Right.
Yeah. So I just
bad for your hair. Well,
so
okay.
I gotta go to
the.
Wait till after I go to the gym before I take a shower. But so after I've worked out, it's real easy to take a cold shower.
Yeah.
Especially like in the summertime. If I don't, I'll be sweating all day.
Right. No, for sure.
The other thing, I mean, for me is, and I feel like I'm a pretty intrinsically motivated person, but I also know, aside from you just staying employed and keeping money coming in for myself and my family, I got a lot of people that trust me and I'm directing their physical activity. And it's always easier to be motivated for others. And I keep that. I mean, I'm very grateful for that, and I keep that in mind. I keep that really close to me.
Yep.
So
I say it all the time. Like, I don't think Skydance would have started if I hadn't had my son.
Right.
So when my daughter was born, I was young and stupid. I wasn't ready to be a dad. I was just turned 21 years old. And then I was 30 when my son was born, and like, I was mature enough to realize, like, oh shit, man, like, this kid relies on me. And right off the bat, I'm a single dad, and it's just like, I got to get my shit together, like, right now, and it's crazy how that mindset of having other people depending on you, how much that motivates you. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like growing up, our dad, he owns his own business now. And I mean, you would see these, these ebbs and like the highs and the lows. And I mean, like, but he never really like expressed that to us as kids. Like everything was always normal. But you could see how hard he was working. And I mean, so our dad immigrated from Hungary during the Cold War, and his families and siblings. And that's always
Hungarian Revolution.
Oh, Hungarian Revolution.
Yeah.
It was like, he was born in 47. So it was what?
56.
Like 56. Okay. And so it was always like, our uncle's a successful entrepreneur, and just having kind of these role models of successful people who are taking care of their families was...
How old was he when he came here?
9.
9. Yeah.
I've always found it interesting that immigrants look at living in America different than we do. Like they really see it as the land of opportunity. Yeah. And they take advantage of it.
I mean, when they started school, like none of them spoke any English, and it was in Youngstown, Ohio, which was a hotbed for Hungarian immigrants. But I mean, and now they're both 6, or my uncle and my dad, and I mean, his sister is a teacher. I mean, like all very incredibly successful people who had nothing. Yeah. I mean, nothing. And so I feel like with the opportunity that we've had, for me to just like, I kind of, there's this part of me that feels like I have to.
Yeah, I think about that too.
Like we were given this incredible chance. And they work
don't waste it.
They're right. Like they work so hard for us to be like on this planet. Yep. We have to be helping others. Like I think that's just in our blood and in our, I mean, I know I'm helping people drink beer, but I'm helping like, I'm helping this community of beer drinkers and wine.
She's a goddess.
The greatest gift you can ever give.
But I mean, it's educating, it's supporting our local communities through different charities. I mean, it's everything. And, I think about that a lot, about what our family really came from, which was nothing. And we've been given this amazing opportunity to make whatever we want from it.
I'm a big believer that life is God's gift to us, and how we live it is our gift to God. And you only have one life, and you don't want to waste it.
It's crazy because when I was in high school, there was this moment that changed my life, and Eric will remember this vividly. I fell in the shower. And I know that sounds crazy, but so I swam in high school too, and I was, no offense, I was better than you. But that was the only thing, like pound for pound, I was better than him. Like, cause I mean, like my times or whatever. But he'll know, he could beat, whatever. I was better. And I wanted to swim in college. Like that was my thing. And I probably could have gone to like a D3 or, something school. And I fell in the shower. And I was like screaming in pain. And Eric was the only one home. But I was like, well, don't come into the bathroom. Like I'm freaking in the shower. Like you're my brother. And I was like, call mom. I'm so hurt. And that moment, like of what I thought was going to happen. And then what ended up happening in my life. Like I can pinpoint to the day. Like that day changed my trajectory of what was going to happen to me. Yeah. And it's weird to think about that, but for me, that was like the day that, like I could never swim as well anymore. Like nothing was the same anymore. Yeah. And so you talk about like God's plan and stuff. And to me, it was kind of his plan for me to fall. Like I know that sounds weird, but I wasn't meant to go where I went. Like I was meant to take this path. I was meant to get sick. I was meant to I know it sounds weird. I was meant to get divorced. I was meant to meet someone new. All of these things are like, were set up in such a way that it couldn't be written by anyone else. Like it's just weird. So,
yeah. So I kind of get the feeling you two had a few little scraps when you were little kids.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She won all those, right?
No.
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 Too much of an age difference there.
Yeah, we're 4 years apart.
Yeah.
But he would pick on. I mean, I wanted so bad to hang out with him.
Yeah.
Until after he graduated, and then him and his friends wanted to hang out with me and my friends. Because,
Yeah.
it's fine.
The tables have turned.
Yeah. No, he would beat me at everything. Billiards.
Yeah.
N64, WWE, wrestling.
Yeah. You had your moves though, like when I'm like just about to beat the Nintendo game and you just waltz in and hit reset on the and then just run off.
And he we created this, I say we, him and his friends, and I pretend like I was there at this game where like our upstairs was angled at such a way that we would play table tennis, but you had to play it off the ceiling. Off the ceiling. Yeah. And it was a tremendous game. I'm shocked that it wasn't picked up by a larger organization. It was always something. Like we were always competitive, always trying to beat something. So
Eric has an alter ego career, or is it a career or a hobby? The comedy.
Oh no, it's a hobby. It's a hobby.
So what got you into that?
I mean, I've always been a fan of comedy.
Yeah.
And
who's your favorite of all time?
If you put a gun to my head, it's Gary Goldman.
Okay.
He's my guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, I got a lot of guys I like and girls. But no, I when I was younger, I had convinced myself that I was a bad public speaker. Mm-hmm. And I by no means think I'm, great. But for some reason, it just clicked it kind of later in my life that I gotta conquer this thing. Yeah. I gotta force myself into a really uncomfortable situation. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, the comedy covered those bases. Yeah. And
so you just walked into a comedy club one day and said, "When's the open mic?"
I probably over prepared for the first one. But
our family's super funny.
Yeah.
We're really funny family.
Yeah.
Like my mom, I remember she was training with him, and she called me after because she goes, Eric didn't think this was funny. And I was like, well, what? And she's like, I walked up to him, and he told me a joke, and I said, Eric, I'm fucking hilarious. And I'm like, Mom! And she's like, I am. And I mean, we just come from a really funny family, but Eric has the best delivery of anyone in the family.
That's the key, isn't it?
That's a big part of it. Oh, yeah. You got to have the content, but delivery is huge.
No, I'm a terrible storyteller. He's a great storyteller. Fantastic. He's really good.
So she kind of told me, or she talked earlier about one was maybe her favorite joke of yours.
Oh, so no,
what is it? I got to hear this.
So this is I put a little bit together about how I like to watch extremely I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and how I like to watch extremely violent action movies with them. The more violent, the better. Yeah. There's no limit to the blood and gore that we'll watch. Yeah. Because I believe it provides a great opportunity to teach life lessons and things like that. So we're watching this violent movie, and the guy gets shot 28 times or whatever. And I was very proud of my daughter for counting the gunshot all the way up to 28. It was wonderful. Very proud moment as a dad there. Yeah. But and then it kind of ends in this explanation of my daughter as to why these guys are so mad at each other, and that the one left his Legos on the floor and the other guy stepped on him with his bare feet, and we all know how that feels. So he got what he deserved, obviously, for that. That's the rough, the long and the short of it. But,
tough spot for the daughter.
He's got some good ones. He sent me one though, and he was like, "I bombed this one."
Ooh, I bombed. And
I watched it, and I was like, ooh, I felt that in my heart. Like,
that was my third open mic, and I bombed.
So you're still doing this?
Well, comedy clubs are.
Oh, yeah.
They're kind of. I think they're getting going again.
Yeah.
I just haven't been up for a while.
YouTube, man.
Yeah.
You're getting used to making the videos.
Right. Yeah.
He's probably got his clients.
I'll get back up there soon. I continue to write. I'm always writing, so.
Well, he'll send me, like gifts and stuff. And then, we looked at a bunch of gifts the other day at family dinner, and his wife's sitting there, and I was laughing, and she's like, I don't think that's funny. And I'm like, well, yeah, like, we have the same sense of humor. I don't know. Like, he's big into gifts. We had a whole only conversation of Matthew McConaughey gifts.
Yeah. You got to go like 1, 2, 3 days in a row. You can only communicate with Matthew McConaughey gifts.
And so
no text whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it was, it was fine. And he's super funny, and it's a good time.
So what's is there anything you can tell us on the horizon with OnCue on the craft beer scene? Putting in more of the coolers.
We're putting in more coolers. We have more stores opening. Lots more stores opening. COVID slowed us down for like a minute, but we're expanding to Houston. That's going down there. Carbach and St. Arnold are everything, and so to kind of go out and find the gems.
Yeah.
That was fun. It's it's much different distribution system down there. But around here, people have recognized us as the convenience destination now for craft beer, which was, that was the goal.
Yeah.
And so just keeping up with the brewers and making sure that we're offering the product that's a priority for both you, the brewer, and that the customer will enjoy. And sometimes I go off on a one-off and think, well, actually that's, not yours, but like, that's not my favorite beer. Yeah. This one's better. And then, it's kind of helped some beers. Yeah. We have some, it's always changing. Yep. I always like to keep it fresh. We have our collaboration series, which you're signed up for.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
We started with Rough Tail and Summer 66, which had all these, homages to Jack's, which is Jack Griffiths Gassep. In the front seat of the Gecko's car was a bass guitar. Our CEO plays bass. He was driving the same car that Jack Griffith used to drive. There was a Jack Griffiths in the back. There was all these little fantastic cues. The next one we have coming up is with Iron Monk. It's called Hometown Hero. It's just the time to really pay tribute to, especially around the holidays, to everyone who's giving everything. And in this time, whether it's a nurse or, teacher or everyone who's on the front lines. So that one's for them.
Cool.
And then we've got one more coming unnamed. And then in the summer going into fall is Skydance. Yep. So we're excited about it. So
forward to that,
the collaboration series actually really got us quite a bit of attention because, it's a limited run, and once it's gone, it's gone.
And craft beer drinkers like that.
They do like
something
that.
About that they like.
And, I'm never going to do like something like totally crazy that is, I want everything to be approachable.
Yeah.
For maybe a first time drinker or something like that. So I'm never going to, do a triple IPA or something. So everything's approachable and works for both of our brands. Yep. So
Eric, what's the future hold for you?
Well, like I said, kind of work on expanding some of the virtual stuff. Just because, who's to say we might be in the woods for a while?
Yep.
Got to kind of navigate that. Continue to just do things the right way at the facility. Try to create growth within my own department, but also some of the young trainers we got at the gym. We're always working on building them up. we need to get back into that education component. I know that when they hear this, they'll laugh about that. I mean, we've been derailed a little bit. We've been off track, you know. We need to get back to that and just kind of get back to what we do best, which is an educational component around the gym, not only for our guys, but we welcome other trainers to come in to take part in our, you know, little fitness seminars and educational classes and stuff. So getting back to that and trying to get some growth from that.
And where can people find out about like if for your services, to maybe get on some of these Zoom calls with you, or to come into the gym? Facebook, online.
InertiaOKC.com is our website. We do have a Facebook page, Inertia Fitness, and an Instagram page. So, you know, go to all your social medias, and we'll be there with all the contact information. You know, you want to see pics of the gym, which is cleanest gym in town and the best equipment in town. Inertia OKC will give you a bunch of great pics, and
And OnCue's pretty active on social media.
I have my own little show on there if you want to check it out. No, we're very active on social media. You can see where we have all of our expanded craft beer sets. You can search by store and select. You know, I think it says expanded craft beer set specifically. We've got something really exciting coming probably in January. I can't talk about it yet, but just keep following us and stay tuned.
All right, so the last question.
Okay.
I ask everybody this question. So it's your last day on Earth, right? And you've got somebody that's either looking to become an entrepreneur and get into the gym, fitness, health business, or somebody who's really trying to, you know, it's the more of the entrepreneurial attitude towards your job, climbing up the ladder to reach the heights that you've reached right now. What's the one piece of advice you're giving on yours? I'd really like, you're talking to a girl, to a young girl like my daughter, who's 20 years old, right? So what's the one piece of advice you're giving them to help them kind of get to where you're at now?
I guess mine is, I have two. The first is never be afraid to be smart. I think we're maybe in a culture where being smart isn't I don't know, like the most exciting or sexy or whatever thing, but you know, your brain's going to get you everywhere. So never be afraid to be intelligent, well-spoken, and educated. Never be afraid. That was what my mom always told me was, you know, my mom didn't go to college, and so she always wanted me to do more, because she never had that chance. So never be afraid to be educated. And second is, and I think I said this before, but if you find something you love, you're never working. I never have problems getting out of bed. I never dread going to work. I absolutely love my job, what I do, the company I work for, and it's finding the fit for what's good for you and your interest, and also for you personally and the culture that you're looking for. So, you know, if you're an accountant and you want to work alone, that's totally different than what I do. I deal with people all day, and that's, I mean, finding what you love and not being afraid to be who you are, and, you know, don't dumb it down. Be smart, ladies, you know. Eric? You can do it.
It's like a brother-sister thing, because you kind of touched on the two things that I'm thinking myself with this question. But I mean, the educational component is huge. Like dive in head first. I mentioned earlier, you know, I was extremely fortunate and very grateful to be around some people here in town that took me under their wing and just were smart. I'm still around one of them. He's one of my partners. He's one of the biggest educational influences I've had. But dive into the education, and you know, to steal which I believe is a Teddy Roosevelt quote, you people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
So invest in the relationships. I get to go to work any one of my clients is my friend.
Yeah.
I could call anybody up right now, text anybody. I get to go to work every day, quote work.
Yeah.
And I get to hang out with my friends and help them be healthy.
Yeah.
I mean,
yep.
that's not a job, that's, and it feels really good, but, invest in the relationships and be kind and be smart, because that's the investment that's going to pay off for both you and anybody that's around you.
Yep. Yeah. I always say that's my number one key to success is building winning relationships.
That's right.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, well, I appreciate you guys coming on.
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It was definitely good to have our first two brother sister. Yeah. So
there were so many more stories I could have told.
Yeah. this
he
sounds
had
like
none on me though.
This sounds like a beer drinking event. Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think, Casey?
Well, I absolutely love OnCue. It's probably one of my favorite stores of all time. When they first came in, everything's clean, tidy. They have what I want.
Thank you.
Everybody's nice. It's
That's
perfect.
right.
I will never bash on the competition, but they really don't. They really don't have any competition
thank you so
at
much.
this point. And the other thing she said, ladies, be smart. Guys like smart chicks.
Yeah.
I do anyway.
Crazy, but I mean, I think that's the truth.
Yeah.
So there you
Which
go.
I didn't mean the word chick in a demeaning term.
No, totally not. I understood.
And then, man, I don't really work out or anything, so I don't really know what to say there. But Manny had some really good points about, what did you say? It's not, say that saying again.
The Teddy Roosevelt?
Yes.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
That's it. Those are words to live by.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys.
Thanks
you,
for the
Jake.
beer. It was delicious.
There's a little bit. You got a little sip there.
I got one more. Hold on. There we go.
Yeah.
Woo.
Cheers,
Hey,
guys.
thank you.
Cheers, Casey.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Casey.
And guys, appreciate you guys watching another episode of Brewed with Hustle. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe so you don't miss any of these cool episodes. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, all the places, wherever you like to catch your podcasts. Until next time, cheers. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thanks.